This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan. With your host, Bradley Summers. And get the latest from Alpena Community College with ACC President Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Bradley Summers. Today, my first guest is Amanda Kucherik from Hope Shores Alliance. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
How are you today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you so much for being here again. I know you're very busy at Hope Shores Alliance with a lot of different initiatives and awareness opportunities for the community. I understand that this is Stalking Awareness Month.
Yes, it is. So throughout the year, there's going to be different months that are always recognized to both highlight the issues faced by survivors, but also just bring a lot of awareness to how do we support these people? How can we be advocates for them? And through that, that's really where our idea of being an everyday advocate was born. And so through that was where we were able to create a couple of different learning opportunities, especially to highlight stalking this month in particular. So something that I really want to share with the community is we're going to be having a community learning program. It's based off of this everyday advocate idea of how can you step in and support your neighbor, support your friend, find information for yourself even if you face some difficulties in your relationships. And so there's going to be a couple of opportunities where you can come and get some more information through this community learning program. That's why we wanted to partner with libraries. Make things a little bit more accessible and work with our friends at the libraries too.
Yeah, awesome. And this isn't just in the Alpena area.
Right. Right. So Hope Shores Alliance does cover a 5-county service area. So we're in Presqu'Île, Alpena, Alcona, Montmorency, and Iosco. And so for this community learning program, we're going to be starting in 3 of our counties. So we're going to be starting both in Alcona County at the Harrisville Branch Library, and I'll share the dates and everything too. Okay. We're also going to be at the Oscoda Robert J. Parks Library, and we're going to be at the Alpena Library here, Alpena County George N. Fletcher Library. Awesome. So that's coming up, though, those dates, and I want to make sure people know that there's different options. Although we're kind of spread out far apart, if there's an area that you'd rather kind of go to and travel and see, it's the same information in each place. We just want to make sure that that information is accessible. So the first opportunity to join one of these learning sessions is going to be at the Alcona Library out of Harrisville, and that takes place Monday, January 23rd. So if we're watching this on a Sunday, it'll be tomorrow. So make sure you come out. That's going to be from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. The next date is going to be later that week. It's Thursday, January 26th from 4:30 to 6:30 in Oscoda. And on the same day in Alpena, we're also going to be hosting. So that's Thursday, January 26th. However, Alpena's is going to be a little bit later at night, and that's 6:30 to 8 o'clock. So it gives you a couple of different options, different times to think about, different locations. We also want to make sure whenever we're doing activities in the community that we're being mindful of everybody's safety. And so we know that sometimes it's going to make more sense to go and visit a library, maybe that's not your next door library. But we want to make sure that people know that these resources are available and they can access them wherever.
So with all of the everyday advocate initiatives that are going on, why is it so important that the community knows about these?
Right. So I think we can all think of a time in our lives where somebody that we were close to, somebody that we really want to support, share some information that maybe we're not prepared or have an idea of how to help them. But we know we want to help them. A lot of us have a lot of empathy for the people around us, or maybe we've even gone through a struggle and we just didn't quite know how to handle it. We want to make sure that everybody knows that there is a way to recognize what's going on, how to name it, how to get some ideas how to stop it. That's really what that comes down to, is knowing that we can use that information to both support ourselves, support our communities, support individuals that we're close to, really practice those empathy muscles, and have a good toolkit of where do we go to, who do we turn to. It's not all on us. We have a whole community of resources to kind of tap into.
Well, and it empowers, you know, sometimes the victim of these. You know, stalking is a really serious thing.
Absolutely.
Where it's not just like somebody following you around.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hindrance on your life, your safety, you know, and it invalidates a lot of different feelings.
Right, and stalking is also a crime that a lot of people have a different conception of. There's a lot of myths that exist about stalking. You know, we have this idea that there's a dark, scary person who we don't know who comes out of a dark corner to follow us down an empty street. Well, we often know folks who are stalkers often know the person. You know, they're going to utilize different methods to stalk this person. I know we've been highlighting certain facts and graphics on our Facebook page recently, and something that we just shared had to do with how much money really is lost by folks who feel like they can't go to work anymore. You know, they have to stay home to take care of everything that's going on. Maybe they're pursuing a PPO and they can't take care of that, you know, in amongst everything else that they have going on in their lives. So we want people to recognize that this is a really challenging crime to combat. You know, how do you find support in your community, as well as, you know, what can you do to you know, reach out to these safer places? How do you make a safer plan? You know, we can't promise 100% safety all the time, but we can set aside places that we know are going to be safer for us, or individuals that we can find support from that are going to be able to help us take those next steps.
Excellent. I mean, it's one, you need to find those resources to find a safe environment. And you know, this is, you know, these are all very serious topics. Each one of these Everyday Advocate series that you're putting out. I know as we continue throughout this year, you know, you'll be on the show, or it's someone from your organization talking about different awareness months.
Right. So that's something too that's going to be really great that we'll see. So we're starting our community learning with stalking, but this is going to continue through the year. So while I want everybody to show up this week, January 23rd and 26th, be on the lookout in February. We're going to be highlighting our community learning program for Teen Dating Awareness Month, or Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. April is also Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And that's really where the Everyday Advocate campaign started last year. And so it's kind of coming full circle and giving it something a little bit extra this year with these learning programs. And this will even continue on to Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October. So really, we're looking ahead all year. We want to make sure that we can, you know, meet you all in these communities we're in, and hopefully see everybody in each of our 5 counties that we work in.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today and talking about these important issues. I look forward to more conversations as we progress through 2023. And thank you again for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for joining us for the first segment. Stay tuned after the break with, for Stephanie Gondula from Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Welcome back, everyone. My next guest today is Stephanie Gondula with Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks.
So, you know, I know there's always a lot of really exciting things that are going on at the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary, but one of your big events that's coming up is the Film Festival.
That's right. It's coming right around the corner, I guess just a few days. It's the 11th annual, if you can believe that.
That's
I can't
crazy.
believe we've been doing it this long. We were able to carry on putting the film festival on through COVID because we did it virtually. So now this year in 23, we're able to do a hybrid event. So we'll be bringing it back live and in person on the 26th through the 30th. But then right after that, as soon as we close the curtains on the 30th, we're going to raise the curtains on the virtual Film Fest. So February 1st through February 12th, you can continue watching all these films. Let's say you didn't get to all 102 films through coming to the Heritage Center Theater, or going to Rogers City Theater, or going to the Alcona County Library. Just go online and get your popcorn and watch them at home. Yeah, so these videos aren't just here at the beautiful theater that you have locally. That's right. It's being viewed all over the areas. Well, what it is, if you think about the virtual, yes, indeed, people from all over the world can tune into that one. But the in-person, years ago, we decided to take the film festival on the road, if you will, to other cities along our sanctuary shorelines. And so we always go to Harrisville, and then we always go to Rogers City. And if you haven't been to the Rogers Theater in Rogers City, it's run by the Presque Isle County Library, awesome place to see movies. And so we love going up there. And then we always pack the house at the Alcona County Library in Harrisville. So we're starting the film festival this year at the library. So launching the festival on Thursday, the 26th at 6 p.m., Alcona County Library. Awesome. Tickets on sale now. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it'll be in Alpena at the Visitor Center. And then Monday, we'll wrap up at the Rogers Theater in Rogers City.
Wow. So you're very busy right now.
Well, we got a few things going on.
So let me go back to something that you just said is 102 movies?
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
It's a lot of films. The way we're able to do that, of course, is that these films range in length from, a minute and a half to feature-length films. So many are short films. In fact, we organize the festival based on sessions or programs, and there's 16 sessions throughout, Thursday to Monday. So a session might have 5 to 10 films, all ranging in different lengths.
Wow, so it's not 102 films on one day.
That's correct. I mean, I have watched a lot of movies, but not that many.
Yeah, that'd be very short. If they're 5 minutes, yeah, we might be able to do that.
Right.
Wow, so with 102 different movies that are going to be shown during this during the film festival, I'm sure there's a lot of different content that's going to be showing. So probably from water to animals to the planet to everything, correct?
Oh, that's one of the best things about the film festival. You are going to be exposed to different topics that are facing our ocean and Great Lakes, different cultures that live along our ocean and Great Lakes shorelines, different critters, of course, different new species you may have never even heard of. And you'll also be exposed to different filmmaking techniques. Now, these are the latest in ocean filmmaking. They're new films. If you've been to Film Festival before, every year we have a new collection of films. So you got to come back and see them. Yeah. So different storytelling techniques, which is really neat for our students to see this variety of content and variety of technology and delivery, really exposing them to new ideas, different career paths.
Yeah, and that's actually leads perfectly into what I was going to ask you next is, I know that you do some of the sneak peeks for the kids in the community and educational opportunities.
Yes, one of my favorite parts is the student sneak peek. So we get to go on the road again, but this time into high school auditoriums or even to classrooms. Some years we'll work with the Friends of the Sanctuary to raise funds and get grants to bus students to the Sanctuary Visitor Center to see the films in our theater. The special thing about that student sneak peek program is these students, like I said, are going to be seeing films they're not going to see elsewhere, but they have the opportunity to talk about the films with their teacher, with the fellow students, and with Sanctuary staff that bring the films to them. And those have been some of the most rewarding conversations. Just, asking the students these questions like, had you heard of that woebegone shark? Or did you know about this issue or this country facing these issues? Are you inspired to do any of these jobs, be a producer, be an underwater videographer? And those conversations are so fun.
Oh, that is cool. And, I've said this before when you've been on the show, or Daniel or Cassandra, but, we just live right next to some of the most beautiful waterways in the country and maybe even the world. And, for us, especially with as a resource protection person as you are and all the wonderful work that you do, it's so important that we teach these young kids how to preserve and steward these wonderful things.
Well, that's really what it's all about. I'm glad you said that, because discussing these issues, the exposure to these issues, really are creating the next generation of ocean and Great Lakes stewards. The inspiration is palpable at these events, and I think a really important part of the film festival, even though the evening events are, we have a fun reception, there's local beverages and to partake of, and then, so not necessarily a kid event on the Friday and Saturday nights, but it still is a rich program for the students when we do those student sneak peeks.
And with all the movies that are going to be presented, are any of them created by local people like from the community or surrounding communities? Absolutely.
We're always excited to include Great Lakes content. It's probably about 65 to 70% ocean topics, ocean content, but we work hard to invite filmmakers who have presented their work in the past. You know, a lot of filmmakers, local filmmakers, have made some great connections. Zach Irving is a great example. He's got, I think, 2, maybe 3 films in this film festival. He's been a part of the festival for years. A young local filmmaker, Nick Lusardi, has 2 films in the film festival, got his start in the student competition. And then there's at least 2 or 3 more Great Lakes filmmakers from around the region who are going to be traveling here to present their work. One in particular, David Ruck, talking about the Erie situation, which is all about the harmful algal blooms happening every summer in Lake Erie and the latest science on that topic.
Yeah, that's and I mean, we could even just go out to some of our parks and see in the riverways, you know, some of the algae blooms that are there, and like trying to, you know, you see a lot of different groups trying to pull this milfoil, I think it's called, and some of those things too. But it really, you know, seeing it presented in a way like this really gets you to that understanding of, wow, I can make a difference too, just at my local level.
Yes.
And inspire people to do good.
That's so true. I'm once again, you're reminding me of all these different wonderful things about Film Festival, and you hit the nail on the head. Not only are we learning about these issues, we're learning what you can do, what I can do, what the community can do together. And so some real hope in there, because there's some pretty serious issues addressed and presented. And it can get a little, whoa, gosh, what can we do? But we really work hard to make sure those solutions are available, even if the solutions are just continuing the conversation.
Excellent. Well, Stephanie, my friend, we're getting to the end of our segment here. I hope everybody that's watching, you know, will take the time to, you know, if they can't go in person, at least tune in virtually at the beginning part of February, but attend and see all the wonderful work that you and your team put on, and you know, bring about these issues that are going on in our world and our local communities, and do some wonderful things.
Yes, absolutely. ThunderBayFriends.org is where you can get your tickets, and we hope to see you there too, Bradley.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us as we continue the endeavor of talking with our local nonprofits and all the wonderful things that are going on in our community. Stay tuned after the break for the ACC segment.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College, and I thought I'd take our time together today to bring you up to speed on some of the things that have happened in the last week at ACC. Our classes started Monday, and we had some bad weather all week. But in spite of that, I had referenced last week, if you happen to be watching, our enrollment, spring semester enrollment was very high. And that has turned out to be the case. So as of yesterday, which is 4 days into the semester, so these numbers won't change much, if at all. Our head count, that's the number of students that enrolled, was up 13.59%. And the credit hours they took, that is the hours that they paid for, and every student has a slightly different decision path on that. The number of credit hours was up 8.69%. So these are remarkable numbers, really. They're number 1 in the state among the now 31 community colleges in Michigan. We added in our group the 3 tribal schools, so went from 28 to 31 last year. So in both of those metrics, head count and credit hours, we are at the top of the list of the 31, and in the case of head count, substantially so. So terrific credit has to go to all the folks that work in admissions. Mike Colleen and Darren Leitner, Sally Schubert, those folks that did a tremendous job. Registration, business office, everyone who deals with students as they register. This is a really important piece, that it be done energetically and well, professionally. And so we get, as my former boss used to say, you get students ready to class on the first day, ready and able to succeed. So these are historic numbers, really. I've been at the college a long time, 31 years, and I don't ever recall 1 year where we were up over 13.5% from the year before, or even 8.69% in credit hours. So this is good on a number of levels. Also last week I had talked about a report called IPEDS, Integrated Post-Secondary Education System report, something that all community colleges and universities that access federal financial aid fill out. And that's virtually all the schools in the U.S. So the IPEDS report is not a finely calibrated instrument, but it does measure important metrics, and it gives you a baseline of comparison with other schools similar to yourselves, and also over a long period of time where you can compare yourself to yourself. Both of these can be valuable. And in one of the questions relates to graduation rate. Graduation rate in what it's defined as first-time, full-time degree-seeking students in 150% of the time allotted. So a certificate is generally 2 semesters, so 150% would be 3 semesters. An associate's degree is 4 semesters, so this metric would capture everyone who's graduated in 6 semesters. Now, if people transfer out, you know, that does not count as a success, which is a failing of this metric. But regardless, all the schools are asked the same question. So ACC's data, I want to thank Dr. Amber Visotsky for pulling this together again. We are #1 among the 31 community colleges in Michigan. Graduation rate of 42% in that narrow band as defined, as I described it. So that's good too. And you know, many schools that have transfer institutions nearby, their numbers suffer, and in some cases they're quite a bit lower. But ours at 42% is the highest. And I think it's probably the highest that ACC has ever had. So that part about comparing this data to ourselves historically, looking back, good years for us have been in the mid to high 30s. It's always been near the top. In some cases it has been the top number. But in this case we're up at 42%. And that I think is probably, going back a couple of decades at least, is the highest number that we've ever attained. So 2 very good metrics for Alpena Community College. A credit to the faculty, administration, staff, community, students, everyone who pulls together and makes ACC a good place to serve the community and a good place to start, and we feel really good about both of these. Last piece I just want to share with you, you folks who get this magazine, Michigan Country Lines. This would be customers of Presque Isle Electric and Gas Co-op, for instance, would get this, and many of the other cooperatives, the electrical cooperatives that around the northern part of the state. There's a really neat article in there about ACC's line worker program, but utility arborist program. And this is training young people, primarily young people, how to work keeping lines clear of brush and trees. It's a job that if people like to be outdoors, they don't mind working with a saw. They like the fresh air. Outstanding pay, outstanding job opportunities. ACC is breathing life into a program that we hope will be a certificate program to stand alongside our line worker program. They're natural partners, and we just need more students, more interest, I think if you folks, if this sounds interesting to you, contact Walt Wilsey at 989-358-7284. And we look forward to seeing you at ACC, and thank you again for this semester and the enrollment. This is a remarkable time for ACC. Thank you. See you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your hosts Bradley Summers and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at WBKB11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production. All rights reserved.